So you finally meet someone that you're really attracted to. The sparks are flying, and suddenly you feel yourself nervous, anxious, wanting to pull away or get distant. And you're not entirely sure what's happening because you want a connection. You're actively dating, and this is someone who is really ticking all the boxes for you. Today, we're going to dive into some of the counterintuitive reasons why you may be blocking attraction and what to do about it so that you can shift into a more confident, powerful stance within yourself. You can feel grounded and self-assured in those moments, because it's not that attraction is the problem. It's your nervous system's response to it, typically, that we need to get underneath if you want to work on this pattern particularly. So let's talk about what's actually happening so that you can get in there, take your power back, and shift the situation into one that you feel really grounded and confident in. If you're new to my work, my name's Courtney Shand. I'm a relationship coach, and I love helping men embody that sense of confidence and clarity that lets them move through those early phases of dating with the direction and self-assurance that they need to end up in a really healthy, thriving, and even polarized dynamic. So without further ado, let's dive in and talk about where this comes from. So the first thing that you need to understand if you find yourself in this pattern is that it's not about the attraction itself. It's that your nervous system has started to associate attraction, specifically the sensations that you feel in your body, with threat. This is what causes you to overthink, withdraw, try to impress, maybe shut down, get busy with work. All of those are actually signs for me, as I'm watching this play out with my clients, that we need to go in there and expand your capacity within your nervous system to be with and tolerate some of those sensations that otherwise feel really overwhelming and daunting for you to handle. This is usually a sign that there's a deeper layer that needs to be addressed. There's usually, on some level, an experience in your body, or in your memory at least, whether it is conscious or really far back in your history, of abandonment, rejection, or being engulfed by emotional closeness. This is what's going to cause your nervous system to start associating that pull towards another person with like, whoa, let's put on the brakes. This isn't safe. And I share that to say that there's nothing wrong with you. Your nervous system is actually doing what it's supposed to do. It is working optimally. It's there to keep you safe. And if we're wanting to create a different experience, we need to go in and retrain what safe looks and feels like for you. There is a systematic way of doing that I help my clients with so that you can feel more grounded and secure and in charge in any situation. Because what I've observed is that the more you can practice those grounding type exercises and really slow the whole thing down, the more likely you can either get ahead of this cascade of adrenaline that's causing you to pull the e-brake on this relationship dynamic, or you can slow things down in the moment and really be clear on what's actually happening and what's needed in this moment, instead of letting those old stories be the one that are driving the wheel. This is what allows you to step into a more confident expression of yourself, one that's able to take things in stride, feel calm and relaxed, and let your guard down and really let the other person see who you are in your genuine expression. There are two really common scenarios that I see with my clients as to why this happens within their nervous system. One is that they have a history of dysfunction in their relationship dynamics. When this is the case, you often mistake chaos for chemistry. And this is probably old news now, but butterflies, that feeling of like anticipation and I just want them to like me, can actually be a subtle form on a body level of some unresolved emotional wounds from the past that would really be helpful for us to take care of now so that they aren't the ones driving the show when it comes to your dating life. That can cause you to continue chasing people who are not either able to be available in the type of relationship dynamic you're wanting to create, or are giving you some signals that are ones that you need to be paying attention to within yourself. I always teach that red flags are the things that are happening inside of you, not necessarily about the other person's behavior, that we need to pay attention to the red flags within us that let us know, hey, I want to pause here and see what's happening in reality. But when you have this pattern running in your system, you kind of become addicted to that adrenaline cycle, which causes you to subconsciously distrust that spark, that feeling of connection and attraction and really feeling drawn to another person. When that has ended up in a situation where it has been dysfunctional or uncomfortable or in some way problematic for you, it's less likely that you are going to experience that spark that we're looking for as a green flag. This is something that I want to move towards. It may be a compulsion where you feel compelled to move towards it, as in the case with the butterflies feeling, but it's not necessarily one that you you are able to consciously say, hey, I'm really drawn to this person and I'm going to purposely take some steps towards them, knowing that I am in charge and still able to ground myself and direct myself away from or backwards if I need to in any situation. Because your body learned to link desire and danger together. This is something that we can go in and rewire this pattern for you, but it does take some intentional effort and some new practices so that you can start to choose connections that feel both secure and exciting. I always talk to my clients about we want the attraction, not the drama. And when we can disconnect those two on a visceral level, you're going to feel like you have a lot more agency and choice over what's happening in the situation, and you're far less likely to put yourself or keep yourself in a situation that isn't necessarily helpful for you in the long run. The other situation that I see most often is that it creates a pedestal dynamic. And if you were my client, I would encourage you to let that experience be a call to look inward and bring some awareness online about what's happening internally for you, especially on a nervous system level. Because what I see with this pedestal dynamic is that on some level, we are afraid to feel out of control. This happens with my male clients. This happened with my female clients. I think it's just a human nature thing that we want to feel like we are in charge. When we don't feel like we're in charge of our person, our sense of self and safety, the nervous system has systems in place to keep us safe, and that is what is going to be overriding any conscious decision that you might make in that moment. And usually when I get down to the root of this with my clients, it comes down to a fear of feeling somehow inadequate or exposed or not knowing what to do and having a lot of pressure and spotlight put on you. And this is a wound that I see a lot of men carrying, so I want to share that because you're definitely not alone if this is an experience that you have. But I find that when we can bring it to the forefront and really allow ourselves to have some healing on that particular experience, the shift that I see happening is that they step into a more naturally confident experience of their own sense of worth because they're no longer having to prove it, they're just embodying it. This naturally is going to build a stronger sense of self-trust. And usually when we go in and do this level of healing, which is like the first month in my 3-month container, we do this level of healing. The experience that I hear pretty repeatedly from clients is this feeling of like, I literally can't do it wrong. I can't mess this up. I could try anything I wanted because I know in my gut and in my body that I can't mess this up. That level of grounded confidence is going to open you up to tons of new experiences, not only in dating, but in career, creativity, new relationship dynamics, really challenging the status quo in your own life and upleveling everything as a result. This is why it's so important, and that's why I start with that in my 3-month container, because this level of confidence is what you need if you want to start playing at a new level, playing a bigger game, and really contributing your best in your life. Because the truth is that real attraction comes from congruence, not performance. And the more that you're able to release some of those stories, some of that nervous system patterning that is causing you or compelling you to behave in ways that aren't necessarily congruent with yourself and your authentic truth, the more attractive you become to the right person or people. It's not about performing, it's really about being present. And that's why the tools that I share with my one-on-one clients are really designed to help you expand that feeling of the present moment so that you can process and deal with any information that's coming to you in a way that feels really grounded but actionable at the same time. When you're able to handle situations in that way where you are feeling calm, collected, and confident in your ability to handle any situation, literally at that point everything is just a problem to be solved. It's not chaos to be managed. It's not something that you have to really figure out. It is like one problem after another. And that's naturally going to lead to not only more confidence in you, but allow for actual connections to form, especially with other emotionally mature people. Because at the end of the day, you want to be with someone that you're attracted to on many different levels. And if that is the case, there is usually some inner structures that need to be set up within yourself so that you can feel like your most calm, confident self as you get closer to another person, instead of pushing it away or creating these dynamics that aren't necessarily fulfilling. It's counterintuitive, but this is my specialty, and this is the guidance that I give my one-on-one clients in my 3 and 6 month offers. So if that is the level of support that you're looking for, reach out. Let's talk about what that can look like for you, what kind of opportunities that can open up for you when you step into a more confident, grounded version of your nervous system. If you're not quite ready for 3 months of one-on-one coaching, check out Rooted. There are a lot of resources in there around understanding what's happening in your nervous system and starting to repattern some of those activation moments for you so that you can, again, feel really calm and stable and see yourself more clearly in any of those moments instead of creating this like pedestal dynamic with someone else. And if that's not quite your jam, I would definitely encourage you to check out the dating codes. It's a really great resource. I go in and kind of help you reframe some of the most common patterns that I see for people so that you can naturally take the most congruent action for you, which is again going to make you the most attractive version of yourself to the right people, the most authentic expression of yourself, coming from a really grounded, empowered perspective. So, as always, I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments what you think. If this is something that's ever happened to you, I would love to hear about it, and I'll see you guys next week.